Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello everyone. In my new column for ThePrint, I write about education and merit within the Chinese Communist Party. During the Mao era, education for most suffered due to the Cultural Revolution. And right after the Cultural Revolution and death of Mao Zedong, Deng Xiaoping started reforms to open up China. And he also started reform to the education sector in 1982. Due to state council's reforms in 1982, there was an increase in education level for the ministers and vice ministers from 38% to 59% between 1982 and 1987. The level of education within the ministers who had degrees in engineering increased from 2% in 1982 to 45%. Prior to the rise of technocratic officials and ministers in 1987, most of the officials and ministers during Mao's era were trained in political work or law. At the moment, within the Chinese Communist Party, there are broadly two factions. The first faction is Tunpai, which is the faction made up of the Communist Youth League and was promoted by Hu Jintao. And the second faction is Taizedang, which is the faction made up of the princelings, the legacy rulers of China who come from the Communist League, and the members who had done the Long March in 1935 and survived the Long March. So the princeling or Taizedang are from that group versus Tunpai, who are younger in age and who have been trained to take over power by Hu Jintao, but it looks like at the moment there is a broader influence of the princeling group, though they often share the power between themselves. Despite the existence of the faction, Xi Jinping still has more power than Hu Jintao and some of the previous leaders, and he has done a lot of work around gathering more powers under his own influence, and he has worked with leaders to create his own faction, which is really powerful at the moment within the Chinese Communist Party. President Xi Jinping himself is one of the members of the Standing Committee of the Politburo, and he is set to hold a doctoral degree from Tsinghua University. There do exist some rumors about the top leadership within the Chinese Communist Party plagiarizing their dissertation for the doctoral degree. But despite these rumors, if you look at the leaders such as Yang Jiechi, they have trained at foreign universities and they have done their undergrad degrees as well as their graduate degrees, and which tells us that there is widespread acceptance of foreign education, at least at some level, but there is also acceptance of merit and educational attainment within the party. We also have interesting examples of leaders such as Wang Yang, who've used education to rise up the ladder of the Chinese Communist Party. And Wang Yang comes from a humble background, but despite that, he used education and hard work to develop a certain status within the Communist Party and rose up the rank by aligning himself with a certain faction. And there are certain examples such as Wang Yang, which tells you that there is an influence of education merit, and that can help you rise up the rank of the Communist Party. But that said, the merit is only restricted to men. We don't see as many female leaders within the Politburo. At the moment, there is only one female member of the Politburo, and that tells you that the whole idea of merit is still restricted to men within the Chinese society.